Jessica. Thanks so much for meeting with me today. I loved getting the opportunity to be in your classroom. Your students were so kind and welcoming with a new face to the classroom. I really enjoyed getting to see you do all the magical things in your room. And here's some things that I observed when I was in your room. I saw that there were some clearly established routines and expectations. I was so impressed by how focused your students were on the carpet during the read aloud. They were all listening and engaged, and it did not seem like the typical 5 and 6 year olds with all the fun holiday stuff coming up. So I was super impressed with that. And how did you establish such a structured and caring learning environment in your classroom?
Lots of practice and repetition, continued practice of expectations and routines, just really reviewing those on a regular basis until we really feel like they were in place. Consistency is just so important with my class. Like, I feel like if we even let up for one day, they just are kind of all over the place. So just really holding them to those same expectations every day and trying to stick with the same schedule so they know what to expect and how to behave in every environment.
I love that. That's so true. That's really important, especially in kindergarten with such young kiddos. It's really important to set those clear boundaries and provide all the students with the structure that they need. I can tell that you've worked really hard to establish such a great classroom environment. So
Thank
today
you.
we're just going to look back at your recent reading lesson and talk about what's going well and what we can do to help your students grow even more. Okay, so we're going to start by watching just a short clip of your lesson. As we watch, we're going to just try and focus on what the students are doing, how they seem like they're listening, if they're talking, and showing what they know. Okay, so what do you notice about how the students were engaged as we look back on your lesson?
I feel like they were really excited during the story. And there were several who were really good about sharing when we talked about the characters, but there were still a few who didn't really join in.
Okay, I totally agree with that. I saw that as well. What do you think went super well for you?
I really loved the movement part of our activity and how most of my kids were following directions when they were on the carpet. They seemed excited about the story. I felt like they were engaged by sitting crisscross and having eyes on me while I was reading. There were kids who were willing to share their thinking afterwards, but it's, again, those same kiddos who just want to keep sharing.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I noticed the same things when I was in your classroom. I was so impressed how they were sitting on the carpet, how they were following directions, they were paying close attention as you were reading. I can really tell how much they love this part of Reader's Workshop and getting the opportunity to hear you read the story. I agree, though, that some of the kiddos, the same ones, continued to raise their hand throughout the lesson, and sometimes it seemed like they were the same kiddos that were sharing. But I really liked how you encouraged other students to share them and help them guide their answer if they weren't unsure. So that was awesome to see you guide them in the right direction without just giving them the answer. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you just some questions to help us identify our goal. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how close was your lesson to your ideal? So did it kind of go as you planned, and what number would you rate it?
I would say probably about a 7.
Okay, so why do you think you'd rate it a 7?
Because most of my students were engaged and excited about the lesson, but I would want them to use like a more complete thought, more complete sentence when sharing their thinking instead of just our one-word answers that they were trying to give.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What would you have changed to make it closer to a 10?
I should have tried to encourage them to expand on their thinking. When they just gave me one word, try to say, like, can you tell me more about that? Can you use more words to tell me what you're thinking? Like that. Yeah.
Okay, I like that idea. That's a good one. And you were being really reflective with your thinking already too. What would you see your students doing differently? And can you describe what that might look like in your classroom?
I really want to try to get them to use complete sentences, complete thoughts. So maybe if I gave them a sentence stem to share from, like I think blank because, or I feel blank because, kind of getting them on that track, that mindset, maybe writing down what they're saying to kind of help them see what I'm trying to, the ideas I'm trying to get them to share as a whole thought. I think that would have helped them.
Okay. Yeah. So how do you think we could measure that goal?
I think that I could kind of just keep track over the course of next week. Kind of maybe like a tally chart or something just on a clipboard with me. Like I have a little chart that has everybody's name on it and kind of marking kids who are using complete sentences versus kids who are not, or even kids who are sharing versus kids who are not. Just to kind of make sure that everyone's kind of sharing their ideas so that I know that everyone's kind of meeting that learning target, but also kind of getting to that bigger idea of using complete sentences, complete thoughts instead of just one word answers.
Okay, yeah. So it sounds like you want your students to use more complete sentences and thoughts and explain their thinking during the read aloud time when you're having a whole group discussion. So we could probably measure this by listening and tracking examples using the clipboard, which I really like that idea. So it's using something we already have. Do you think that should probably be the goal that we focus on?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so if we could reach this goal, do you think it would make a difference in your classroom? And do you think it'd be like a good use of our time and something that's effective and meaningful?
Yeah, I really think so. I think it not only would it help in Reader's Workshop to kind of help them dig deeper in their thinking, but I think it will carry over into other aspects of our day, like writing. If they're able to share a complete thought orally, then they're more apt to write a complete thought in their book instead of just writing single words. I also feel like it's just helpful for my language kiddos who struggle with speech and language to encourage that kind of language. So they're using it more, but they're also hearing it from other kids as well.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea. That's so true. And I like how it can kind of go into different subject areas as well. So, our peers goal could be students will use complete sentences with sentence stems like I think blank because blank during circle time discussions so that at least we could say about like 80% of students can explain their thinking clearly. I feel like that's a good number because it's not too high, but it's the wide majority of the class too. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for our goal.
I like it. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so now that we have our goal, students will be using the complete sentences with sentence stems during circle time. Let's think about some strategies that might be able to help us. Do you have kind of any ideas of a strategy that you might be wanting to try?
I was thinking like the sentence stems would help, and then just modeling that when I am doing my think alouds out during the story. I think that would be where I probably would start.
Yes, I love the idea of modeling. It's such a powerful tool, especially in kindergarten. I feel like they really feed off seeing it and then they're able to go try it, especially if they're sent off to their book boxes or turn and talk. So we could do those sentence stems like modeling, I think blank because blank. I also had some other suggestions that I thought might be some good strategies. We could do some visual, like a visual support, such as an anchor chart, or even print off and find a good visual picture, just to help the students remember to use the sentence to express their idea. So instead of just saying dog, they could be like, the dog feels sad because it lost its ball. And like we could just point to the picture and that could automatically remind them with the visual cue.
That's good.
Also, maybe even like partner talk, possibly, if we pair the students and give them a specific question, and then each partner will use the sentence stem to answer before sharing with the class. That might be kind of a fun way to do it and get them talking to their neighbors.
Yeah, I like that.
And then the last idea I thought was maybe a think, pair, share with using a specific prompt. So if we give students time to think and then we pair them up with their partner and share the sentence stem, and then this could hopefully help build some confidence too in the kiddos that don't really enjoy speaking in front of the class and give everyone the opportunity to share their thinking. Okay, so what do you think out of those strategies would be the most comfortable for you?
I think probably partner talk, but it also got me while you were saying that, it got me thinking like my kids have carpet spots when they come to the carpet, but I think I want to give them a reader's workshop carpet spot so that I could strategically partner them so then they turn and talk. Um, they have someone that one at least one strong kiddo who can help guide that conversation and then kind of I think I just want to try that for the partner talk and see if we can have some productive conversations that way. I'm worried if I
Yeah.
just leave them as is right now.
Mhm.
There's several kiddos who are sitting next to each other for behavior reasons, but academically would not be able to have a productive conversation. So, but I think I want to try that.
Okay, I like that idea. That's such a good point too. That's something I didn't really think about. So that's a great idea. So I think if we pair them strategically too and use those sentence stems, that can really help build their confidence and give them that support needed to express their complete idea. And I can totally model this for a reader's workshop time by utilizing some direct instruction techniques, and I can show you how to introduce those sentence stems and guide them to use them when sharing their thinking. And I'd also want to add in a lot of intentional times for turn and talk and think, pair, share. And I think these would just be really helpful in the improvement of their instruction because it supports that language development. It helps them build the confidence and develop deeper thinking skills that can transcend to other areas throughout the day too, in reading and writing, and even maybe in math too, of explaining our thinking. And I think it's a great way just to increase the overall participation during the discussion as well. So I think these listening skills are really important and promote the accountability piece and their lifelong skill to help them be successful in the older grades as well.
Yeah, no, I love that. I would love to see you come in and model during readers workshop. I always love when I get to see other teachers. I just think it gives me so many new ideas that way when I get to.
Yeah, so let's plan a time for me to come back and video your implementation of this goal in your classroom. How does next week sound?
Sure, yeah, that'll work.
Okay, and then after that, we can review the video and see how the strategies helped your students. How do you think we could monitor our progress towards the goal? Do you think it might be like a simple observation checklist? Are we still wanting to use the checklist that you kind of talked about earlier and just utilizing that? I feel like that might be a simple way where it doesn't create extra work.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best at this point in the
Okay.
year, for sure.
Okay, perfect. We'll use the checklist then. So, I am really excited to implement the checklist and all these simple strategies to achieve our goal. And I think it'll be so great to see your students be able to share their ideas independently and see their long-term success.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see them grow and just be able to share their ideas more clearly.
Yeah, thank you so much for working with me today and allowing me the opportunity to coach you. It was such a great learning experience, and I'm so excited to see how these goals help your students continue to grow, and I can't wait to see their progress.
Thanks, me too.